President Trump hit the ground running after taking the oath of office just yesterday, signing dozens of executive orders. They covered a wide range of issues, including our ties to international groups. Trump signed orders removing the U.S. from the Paris Climate Agreement and the World Health Organization, too. Another order delayed the ban on the social media app TikTok for a few more months. He also put his signature on one order that could have a big impact right here in Texas. He declared a national emergency at the southern border and effectively shutting down asylum seeking there.
He walked in the White House and he did exactly what he said he was going to do.
Well, still, some experts are saying that Trump's moves are likely to face some legal challenges. President Trump also issued pardons for more than 1,000 people charged in the January 6, 2021 attack on the U.S. Capitol. Our Lauren Crawford joins us in studio this morning. She's been following this pardon sentence as it broke from overnight. Lauren, we want to talk about these commutations, too. They're taking shape a lot with him immediately taking office. Tell us what you know.
Absolutely, Carmen. Good morning. And breaking overnight, we have learned that the former leader of the Proud Boys will be flown to his hometown of Miami today after being pardoned. Earlier, we reported that he would fly from North Texas to Miami. Since then, his flight has changed and now originates out of Nashville. Natario was serving a 22-year sentence after being convicted of playing a central role in orchestrating the events on January 6th. And last night, his mother tweeted, quote, "Our president gave my son and all the January 6ers their life back. They can live again, breathe fresh air again, feel the sunshine again. The real Donald Trump saved my son's life."
They should immediately be released, immediately, the J6 hostages.
At least 122 of those defendants are from Texas and about 40 specifically from North Texas. President Trump is asking his attorney general to dismiss 450 pending criminal cases. The executive order also issues 14 commutations. We've confirmed that one of the commutations includes Stuart Rhodes from Granbury, the founder and leader of the far-right group, the Oath Keepers. He was convicted of seditious conspiracy and sentenced to 18 years, one of the longest sentences. Then you have Guy Reffitt of Wiley could end up pardoned as well. He's serving nearly 7 years in prison after his teenage son turned him in. And then you have Larry Brock from Grapevine. The Air Force veteran was among those who made it to the floor of the U.S. Senate. He has appealed his 2-year prison sentence and remains out until his appeal is decided. And he too could be on President Trump's pardoned list, but we have not yet confirmed that. Trump has not said whether he plans to pardon all of those charged on January 6th. He has admitted that some people at the Capitol did get out of control that day. More than 170 people were charged with using items like bear spray or fire extinguishers as weapons. Others admitted to fighting with the police. And we are still waiting to see which of those pardons will happen, when they'll happen, and who they would extend to. We've also learned about 700 defendants already completed their jail sentences or were never sentenced to prison at all. Carmen, back to you.